take just a moment to introduce, everybody knows Pam Musburger, the director of our Early Childhood Center. And it is a fantastic program. I'm down there many, not all Fridays, but many Fridays to sing with a couple of different groups, and it's fabulous. So you'll be impressed today with what you hear and what you do and experience with your own hands back there. So,
hands on. You're welcome, Pastor Steve. Well, good morning and welcome. I'm really glad to have this opportunity to share with you what your early childhood center looks like and some of the experiences that go on there and how we are able to embrace the most beautiful classroom of all, which God created for our children. So we're really, really blessed that we have this beautiful space here at Ascension Lutheran to share with our children. And hi, Jim.
Hi, Pam.
On the back table, you probably noticed lots of fruits and vegetables, and those are all samples of what grows down there at the Early Childhood Center. This summer, we've had a huge summer program, and our children have enjoyed those grapes. They're about 4-year-old vines now, so they're starting to really produce a lot, and the children have been eating them all summer. It was a lot of fun. And the teachers are stomping the grapes and making wine. In my dreams. So I did have an intention of putting in those wines. But there are so many wonderful things that grow down on the property. We're blessed with oranges, apples, tangerines, peaches, kumquats, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. And the children get an opportunity to see what whole foods are, because actually today's children do not know what whole foods are. They know what a fruit roll-up is. And that's really sad when you think about it. So our outdoor classroom was certified in 2010 as a Nature Explorer certified classroom. Interesting, on Living Lutheran this month, they featured an outdoor classroom in Minneapolis, Minnesota, because that's where all the real Lutherans live. We were the 4th school in the state of California to become a certified Nature Explorer program. So, but they are Californians, so we're not the real Lutherans, right? But we're really, really blessed to have that be who we are and identify with that and help children become good stewards of what God's given us. That's the goal. When you think about some of your experiences as a child in education, you think about it, you close your eyes, what were some of the most meaningful experiences you might have had? For me, I grew up in Illinois. My mom would deposit me out the door in the morning and say, go play. That was the extent of the instructions. So it was in that time that I got to kind of find out who I was as a person and what my God-given gifts and talents are. Our children are so rushed and so scheduled. They don't know who they are. There's not an opportunity for them to find out who they are. They are just scheduled and scheduled and scheduled. And that's society's right now. That's what we're doing. But when I was a child, I had the opportunity to figure out. So we had a big birch tree in the front yard, and it was really cool to climb. And my mom would go to, it was called the White Elephant Shop. And you could get prom dresses that were, slightly used or whatever, gently used, and she'd cut them up and make them fit me. And I would climb the birch tree in my beautiful prom dress. And I would perform for the neighbors. And so I discovered some leadership skills that I had. I found out I could gather a group of people and find out how to get them interested in what I was interested in. But it's through those downtimes, right, where we find out who we are. And our outdoor classroom offers that to children. They have opportunities to gravitate here or gravitate there and find out what their God-given gifts and talents are. And that's what's so fun about being part of the process, is seeing children given the opportunity to find out who they are. A lot of our kids arrive at school at 7 in the morning. They're still there at 5 when they go home. That's a 10-hour day for a child. You and I work not me. Most of us work 8 hours a day. Children are working 10-hour days or more. I pride myself on the fact that our children don't work longer than 10 hours here, because it's not what's best for kids to be in school longer than that. But with that being said, what a huge responsibility we have to meet the needs of those children. So it came to pass this last week, I had a conversation with a parent about a little boy that's not even 3 yet. And she said, well, he goes to bed at 5:30. And I said, oh, because he's having a hard time sleeping at school. I said, oh, he goes to bed at 5:30. And I was thinking to myself, well, I said, if he goes to bed at 5:30, what time does he get up? And she said, well, he gets up at 6 in the morning. I said, wow, okay. So then I thought about it. He goes to bed at 5:30, he leaves school at 5. He goes to bed at 5:30. School starts at 7. He's the first one in the door. He gets up at 6. He's spending an hour, if you do the math, if it even is a full hour, with his family. So we're his family. We are his environment. We are his opportunity to learn. We are his opportunity to grow. We are his opportunity to figure out who he is as a person. We're his opportunity for him to say, what gifts did God put inside of me, right? So it's a huge responsibility when you think about it. Our families in the Canal Valley, they work. They have to provide. And so our ministry is to provide a wholesome environment and be a second family to that child. With that being said, all the things that I grew up with, I want to see them experience here at school, because we are all they're going to really experience. A lot of times when they leave school, they're going to go to soccer, they're not going to bed. They're going to go to soccer, or they're going to go to some other planned activity. And there's no opportunity for them to just have some downtime and figure out what they like to do. So at the Early Childhood Center, we try really, really hard to give them that opportunity to gravitate. Maybe they're more interested in science, or math, or literacy, or art, or music. And that's okay, we want to honor that. Because those gifts are inside of them, and they need to discover them. With today's kids being so overscheduled, they're being diagnosed with ADHD, they're being put on drugs to help them sit still in school, because the schools have taken away their opportunity to have the big motor play. They can't run. They're told to sit and learn and do, that kind of work, and children are designed to move their bodies. They have to move their bodies. That's how they learn, and that's how their brain connects with what's going on. So it's our goal at the Early Childhood Center to give them the opportunity to make those discoveries and also have time to move their bodies, time to figure out what they like. So when you think back about your favorite times as a child, when you think about what learning stood out to you, I would be willing to bet that there's going to be something about nature in that story for you. So this is the Early Childhood Center certification that we received in 2010. We became a Certified Nature Explorer program. And what that means is that children are connected to nature in meaningful ways through education. It was a 5-year process for us. We had to start with what we had, of course, which was a big blank sheet. So the first thing I did is I pulled a permit through the city and added some shade so our children could be outside and they could learn outside and they're not having the sun hit the cement and bounce up, because that's what it does. So they were outside on the patio. We made a nice little art studio out there, began with that. And then we added drinking fountains so they could sustain themselves outside. There wasn't the need for a teacher to constantly do the water cups and that kind of thing. And then, if you're going to have goodies outside, you have to have storage. That's the entrance to our outdoor classroom. So then in year 3, we added all the storage. So we had the water fountains, the shade, the storage. And then year 4, we added our creek, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. And before we began the outdoor classroom, we had the opportunity, because the school was not open in the summer, to visit other schools in the area. So I took a team of people, of my staff, to Pacific Palisades and Santa Monica and Manhattan Beach and even up north to look at other schools that were on the path about connecting children to nature. This is such a passion of mine. And we would take pictures and bring them back and decide, what do we want first? What could we actually go and have done first. Of course, I looked through all of our records to see what parents had what skills. So I could call them and say, hey, I have this great idea, could you help me? And I went to Osh, and I went to Armstrong's, and I went to Home Depot, and I beat the pavement and said, we have this great idea for kids, but we don't have a whole lot of resources, could you help us? And we got so much help. Church members came down and dug garden, and you name it, we had lots and lots of community support. So after 4 years of that, actually 4 years of that, we were able to become certified as a Nature Explore school, and we're the 4th school in the state of California to be certified, so it was kind of fun. This is our creek. So the kids love to pump the water, it goes down the hill, it dumps into the sand. And they get real fancy in there. They have a really good time in that creek.
Does it only flow with the pump?
It only flows with the pump. Yes, there was a design. So we fill the tank and then they pump it.
Is it recycled?
It is not, but it gets well used, let me show you. There they are down there in the bottom. And so what it does is it's designed to go down into the bottom of the sand. So our future architects are really down there in the wet sand creating all kinds of cool things. And the engineers are up at the top because they're trying to dam it up. And I will tell you, you can see that in children.
Musicians.
This is down at the bottom what's going on. So that one drop of that water is going to waste. This is another area when you become a, a certified Nature Explorer program, you have to show what kind of learning is going on in what area. So obviously the creek is the creek, and there's all kinds of cool things that happen there. Even in the creek, I'll throw fish in there, plastic fish, not real ones, and the children will fish for them, and then they will measure them, and then they will weigh them, and they will say his is longer than mine, or his weighs more than mine, and there's a math activity that can happen in the creek. There's different activities and curriculum that get brought into every single area of the outdoor classroom. So although play is huge and it's a big part of who we are, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and there's an intention to every single thing that we do. This is called a heavy work area. So in the fall, I try to fill it with pumpkins. We try to use things that have meaning to children. So they're seeing pumpkins in their world in the fall. They're everywhere. So I fill it with pumpkins. In Christmas time, I usually fill it with pine cones and different pieces of fir tree and things like that. This, I think, happened in October. And you can see this little boy. His plan is to see how fast he can get that pumpkin down. And he's got all the gutters. He's got a big plan. And there's lots of science going on there. This is science for a 3-year-old. So there's a lot of loose parts. Most of them are too heavy for one child to pick up. And that is the intention. They have to learn how to collaborate. So they will, I'll watch them get a rope and try to drag it. They'll try to pick it up, it's too heavy, even with all of them. And then they'll start to roll it, and they figure it out. And so to watch a bunch of 3-year-olds figure out a plan and execute it is amazing. And it happens because there's loose parts. They're not told what to do, they come up with a plan. If you give a child a boat, come on in please. They will treat it like a boat, and it will sound like a boat, and they'll make it look like a boat, and they'll do what a boat does. But if you give them a bunch of mess, they're going to do what's in here, and they're going to figure out a plan. So there's been studies done that children that are given loose parts, it increases their critical thinking skills, and also with the size of the logs, it increases collaboration, because it's the only way they're going to get the job done.
How about a child that doesn't get involved, just sort of sits there? How do you
An observer?
choose that?
Well, I feel this way about that. What happens is, in an outdoor classroom, there are so many excited areas, to be honest with you, he's going to find his niche. And when he's excited about learning, he's not going to be sitting there. He's going to engage. And most children at this age, they're not actually playing together, if you will. They're actually playing next to each other. They all have their own thing going on.
Right.
But this area here does increase collaboration, for sure.
And how about the one that's a child that's aggressive? And is there some way that they calm down through this type of relationship?
It is very helpful. This kind of environment does help children, for sure. You know, when you think about just us as adults, if we're stepping outside, doesn't it just, you go, it's just that for you, right? So a child that does have a hard time in a classroom, you're gonna see them completely blossom in an outdoor classroom. They can move their bodies, they can go from item to item, there's so many different interest areas. And there's so much going on, but yet because it's so spacious, because it feels spacious when you're this tall, you don't feel crowded. You're not in a classroom, you're not bumping into people. So this is a little music area, so we do music out here. This guy, they created a band. So those are all instruments. And this is what I'm talking about, like, they had to make a plan. These are 3-year-old children. There's no teacher facilitating this. They made a plan, and they were executing it.
And one event suggested, let's be a band.
You bet, so there's your leader. There's your leader. Right. And I think there's some church members in here, I don't know, that's a few of them. So this is just what's going on in the dirt area, where we do let our kids get dirty, get hands-on, sensory, very, very important to children. And so they're given that opportunity. This is the hill, and I left it open so that they can be creative and have a space to not have it planned for them. So they make lots of plans. And they can also run across that hill, because it's so important for children to have room to move their bodies. And they're not just in these little slots. Uh-oh, you don't want to miss those cute girls.
Yes.
This gives you an idea of what kind of art can happen at the preschool. We don't do refrigerator art, we do process art. So children are involved in the process of creating. And so they're working with some of the things that you see on the back table there. And it's just amazing what they come up with and how into it they do get. This is dramatic play. We have a few drama queens there. They have their butterfly wings on, having a great time. This is a little area in the twos room, and outside classroom, and it's actually a literacy area. So there's going to be literacy, math, science, art, music, all of those things that you would find inside a classroom on the outside at our school. This is the garden that the children maintain. This is by far their favorite thing that they grow. It's the snap peas, and I have some back there. Please help yourself later. They will stand there and stare at those peas because they blend in with all the greens. And it is so cute. So we have mommy's nights and daddy's nights where the parents come to school. And there was a little boy, and he stood there. I guess I could say who. I won't. Caden Snyder. Does anybody know Caden Snyder? Anyway, he was there with his mommy at school, and he was staring at this, and he finally found this little, it was at the end of the season, tiny little pea, and he lit up like a Christmas tree. Mommy, look! I'm going to share it with you, and he broke this little tiny pea in half. Anyway, they ended up growing a garden at home. So it is contagious for children. They love being involved, and they love the process. Right now, it's August, so it doesn't look so great, but we're growing some cherry tomatoes. But in the fall, when we do the snap peas, that's a hot ticket. This is some music going on outside. You can see our literacy stage in the background. Every single area of the Early Childhood Center offers a literacy stage to children. This is some 2-year-olds. Anytime I hear a chainsaw, I chase down the truck, and I ask them, please deliver that to my school. My children absolutely love the stumps. And so we go through a lot of those. This is how dirty we let them get. We let them get dirty. So parents know what they're signing up for. I show them a picture of this. I tell them we're going to try to squirt them off before they go home, but we can't promise it. So don't send them to school in anything that Grandma sent. It won't work out. This is a play that the children put on, and they read the literature, they make the props to go with it, they act it out, they own the story, they understand it. This is what's the name of our story, Carrie?
Pete the Cat and his
Pete the
groovy
Cat
buttons.
and his groovy buttons. Lots of fun. This little girl's 2 years old. She's acting out Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It is absolutely amazing to see the interest level of the age of the children. Yes?
Your class is only for kindergarten kids.
We go all the way up through pre-kindergarten. So we just moved our transitional kindergarten upstairs to the day school. this year, so that's new for us, so we can create more space for our little people. So now we're actually gonna end at the 4 years, at the end of the 4th year, just prior to kindergarten. So this is what, how we get ready for our Christmas program. Very, very popular to act out. They do this forever. I bring in hay and we make major after major after major. And everybody gets to have a chance at role playing. It's a lot of fun, but I will guarantee you they understand the Christmas story when they're done with this. This is, I'm an Illinois girl, so I like corn. So in the fall, I introduce the children to corn. They've never seen it before. They don't even know what it is. So they don't know how to shuck it. They have never literally touched any ear corn. It's unbelievable. So they shuck it, and it takes them quite a while. By November, they're much better at shucking it. But we cook it, they don't touch it. So it is served. We serve whole foods at the preschool. So if they're gonna have a snack, it's gonna be like a fresh fruit and vegetable and maybe a whole wheat cracker or something like that. So in the beginning, we start with the corn, and they eat just the cracker. The corn sits there, toss it out. So we serve that and serve that and serve that, and then by January, I hear this. Oh, we're having corn today. Oh, there's corn. Now they're excited about eating corn. They had to learn about corn. They had to touch corn. They had to smell corn. They had to see it several times to make sure it's safe. Now they love corn. But it's the process. They don't know what it is. They're eating processed foods. They don't know what whole foods are. They don't know what vegetables are. That's where we're at. So that's why it's so critically important for children to be exposed to whole foods. They know fruit roll-up. Who's that guy?
Who's that?
Pastor Steve comes down, and sometimes we get to enjoy our literacy stage and with him on it, and we do lots of wonderful Mary Rice Hopkins music that he has taught the children. And we call it Fun Friday, because Pastor Steve's coming. These are daddies, and so they're here for a daddy's night. Again, we're using our outdoor classroom, and there's more space, and people can just enjoy it. That is not a real fire. You know this little girl. This is Hannah Delka's camp when she was at the preschool. She loved the outdoor classroom. So we were gone for a while, and a couple of weeks, I think it was over a break. And she came back, and we measured the sunflowers to see how much did they change while we were gone. How come this one grew more than that one? Does that one have more sun? Did this one get more water? What happened? Those are learning experiences for children that are meaningful and hands-on experiences. So even though it's an outdoor classroom, there's opportunities for math, science, and all those things. We have lots of bird feeders around. There's a graph next to the bird feeder so the children can graph how many birds did you see that look like this? There's a picture of the bird. How many look like that? So there's all kinds of comparisons in the literacy area, whatever story they're working on. What was the beginning of the story? What did it look like in the beginning? And they'll line up the pictures on a magnet board. What did it look like in the middle, and how did it end? How did the story come to an end? So all of those pieces that you can do on an inside of a classroom, we do on the outside of a classroom, which is oh so fun. Obviously, it takes a lot of work. It takes an invested team. It doesn't maintain itself. We have an outdoor classroom work day every February, and the amount of people that come to support it is amazing. It is HGTV times 10. So they're there, they come at 9, they're gone by 11:30, because little kids start to melt down about 11:30 if they don't have lunch and they have all the stuff they need, right? So we try to do a Saturday, and our children come and help. Our parents come and help. We have tons and tons of physicians that come to the Early Childhood Center. We support Los Robles in a huge way. And it is so fun to see them take the time, these physicians, to dig in the dirt, because that's what they do. And they fertilize our grounds, and they refresh things, and they paint fences, and they want their children to have this experience, so they're invested into it. And it's just really fun to see that family involvement. And when you're a Nature Explorer program, that's the requirement. How are you involving your community? How are you sustaining your classroom? Every year you get recertified. So the first certification was in 2010. We're in 2017. What'd you do in 11? Show us what you did in 12. So there's this constant accountability that happens with the entire team and a huge investment in our families. I also go through all of our CUME records to see what God has provided me with gifts that they might have that year. So maybe I need a plumber, or maybe I need an architect to put those literacy stages in. It's a big deal. So everything has to be done, obviously, as a school would. But I will tell you that God has provided the right people every single year to take us to the next level of the outdoor classroom. So it's been a huge blessing with the modular buildings. We also have outdoor classrooms, obviously. And we have a beautiful Monarch way station there for the children. And that's some of the milkweed that's back there on the table to sustain that. But we had to kind of make do, if you will, because they're temporary buildings. So we put in a lot of things that we can take with us to our new building. So that'll be fun.
Pam, what about all the paintings that the lady came in and did? Was that still?
So one of our families gifted us, it's so beautiful, with an artist. She paints for Gardens of the World. And so she's no small potatoes. She's amazing. And so the school was closed that week that she came. And I told her, I said, I want the school to represent the environments of the state of California. So I want that room to be the deserts of California. And I want that room to be like Mammoth and Big Bear. And I want this room to be Thousand Oaks. What would that look like? And so anyway, so our one room is called the Forest Room. And it does, in fact, reflect all the animals that you would find in Mammoth and Big Bear. Beautifully done. And then when you first come into the preschool in the main room, it is called the Meadow Room now. And it is definitely filled with animals that you would find in Thousand Oaks. Lots of coyotes, chubby ones, because they eat a lot of kitty in Thousand Oaks. Signs all over my neighborhood, missing cat. I'm like, they're not missing. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. You can't get a cat in. Anyway. So, and then, we have the deserts. And so the children start to identify which animals live in what environments. How do they make a home? What do they need? So lots of those kinds of things, and that was all donation. I can tell you that 99% of what you would see downstairs has all been donated. Yes.
What do you do when it rains?
I pray. No, I'm just teasing. I will tell you that our children, up until last year, they didn't even see rain. They don't know rain. We were in a drought for 3 years. So we had 3-year-old children that literally had never seen it rain. Isn't that so sad? So when it rains, we run outside. We really do. I have umbrellas and I have covers for the kids.
I remember when we moved from Ohio to California, and it snowed, and in Santa Barbara, in right in my grade school, and all the kids are running to the windows.
Yes.
Like, whatever.
I know, really. It's all about perspective. Well, these children had never seen it rain, so we embrace it. And we went out. I should have brought a couple of those pictures. They got so creative. So they dug holes and they made lakes and you name it in the sandbox. Our parents have signed up for this. They understand the purpose. They understand the reasoning, and that's why they're here. And so they're very forgiving of dirty kids, kids that are wet. We change clothes, obviously. But they want their children to experience life. That's why they're here. That is exactly why they're here. So we let children take a risk. And in today's society, children are not allowed to take a risk. And I don't know, but for me, growing up, it's when I took those risks that I found out what I'm made of, and what I can do, and it built my confidence. And our kids don't get an opportunity to do that. So I tell parents, your child can get hurt here on the tour. It's one of the first things I say. Your child could get hurt here. They could get a bee sting. If they take off their shoes and run across the grass, we're going to say okay to that. But then they could get a bee sting. They're going to pay the price for making that choice. So if that's not your plan for your child, we're not the right fit, because we have to allow children to take a chance. Will I let them ride their bicycles with their shoes off? No, absolutely not. But do they get to take a risk? They do. They get into the heavy work area with those logs. You can get a splinter. You could drop it on your toe. So those are the kind of things that happen when you take a risk. So I say, we're not as safe as possible, but we're as safe as necessary. In my estimation, maybe not theirs. But what we seem to attract are the scientists from Amgen. They want their children here. They have a beautiful facility there. There's a huge wait list. They're full of those people because they actually would like their children to experience life. not cement floors, not, they just don't have a plan for them to, you're welcome to sit. They don't have a plan to let them touch and feel and have a sensory experience with God's great world. His classroom, God's classroom, just doesn't get any better than a place to learn, right, for children. It also opens up that door where we can talk about God. He's just naturally incorporated in their day. He's not put in a box. It's not God time. It's like always God time because we're in his studio, and it's fantastic. And we talk about it. And the children get to begin a relationship with the God of the universe by touching it and smelling it and feeling like they want to be good stewards of what he's given us because it has meaning to them. So children, yes.
I know that my MD had his kids go to you, and he really respected the intelligence and the quality.
Oh,
So there's an MD community there too.
it's gotten really big.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is when you like something, you tell your friends, well, all the surgeons have told the surgeons. And so we have a big, huge community now of physicians. And they're wonderful. They're very supportive of the program. And if anything ever happens to me, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm golden. I will never wait in the OR or ER or anything. Really, seriously, about 5 years ago, we were having an open house, and a little boy jumped across the creek, and he didn't make it, and he hit a rock, and he split open his chin. And I said, wow, I think we have about 12 people here at least that could sew him up. But of course, he went. That almost never happens. That's the interesting thing. Children learn how to take a risk, and those things just really don't happen. He'd never been in that environment before. So children that are given the opportunity, they know how to think about it. They know how to calculate it. They know how to take that calculated risk. So for sure.
You ever bring in therapy dogs and then the touch?
Well, no, we haven't really. We brought in canines. We do a lot of community helpers. So children at this age, it's so important for them to have real life experiences. So we bring in the officers. I have a lot of sheriffs also that come to school, and they will bring in their canine units. We have the firefighters come and bring the truck and the whole thing so that they can squirt the hose, and we have the firefighter dress up in the clothes so the children are not going to be afraid of somebody that looks like that in their home. So there's lots of opportunity for parents to get involved in that way. So we ask them, please come in and share your profession with us because children need to see the stuff. Toys are fun, right? So I always say we can pass on the attorneys for the 3-year-olds. But if they are scientists or librarians or what have you, that has meaning to children and they need to understand what choices are out there for them. So lots of real life experiences with our families. We also do the same thing with culture because, we're pretty boring. So please, if you have something that would be meaningful to children, please come in. So all the physicians love to come in. And so we had so many physicians one year that the last one came in and played her violin. Say thank you. They all know where their heartbeat is. They've all heard it all, and it's awesome though to have those. Those parents have those experiences with the children. We've had archaeologists. We've had so many fun things come in. And so we embrace our families' gifts as well. We have a team of 22 teachers. The same applies to them. They come to us with gifts and histories. And so we make them part of that quilt, which makes us the rich experience that children have, because we have teachers that come with incredible backgrounds. And as long as it fits within our mission and philosophy, it's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing. Any questions? I have a tendency to ramble.
I'm just curious, how long is a typical day for a child who doesn't need pre-care, aftercare?
Yeah.
How many days a week?
I love that question. Well, it's changed over the years. So I've been in Lutheran education for, like 20 years, 21 years. And when I first started, I would say the hot ticket was Tuesday, Thursday morning for a child from 8:45 to 12:30. That was the hot ticket.
Yeah.
As families got busier, that changed. And now everybody wants at least 3 days a week. And again, I always tell people, if you can pick your child up at 12:30 in your home, that's perfect. If you have a child in a day school, 3 o'clock's perfect. You only have to do one drive-by, right? 3 o'clock, everybody's in the car, you're good to go. It's our physicians and our dentists and those folks that have their children till 5. And I don't know, did I tell you about the little boy that goes to sleep? I gotta tell you this.
Yeah.
Oh, did I tell you that story? That he goes to bed at 5:30? Yeah.
Yes.
So having that child in my mind is what drives my passion. Like, what can we do for that little guy for that amount of time that's gonna sustain him, keep him interested, keep him involved? But what makes Ascension is the fact that I have a lot of those little children that do just come from 8:45 to 12:30. Because it changes the dynamic of who you are if your entire school is there from 7 in the morning until 5. It becomes a family, literally, sibling fighting, right? I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
When you're with your sibling that long, so it's those children that mix it up, that are there from 8:45 to 12:30 and until 3, that mixes, the pot keeps mixing. And so you don't have that environment that you could have.
Do they have an opportunity in that though?
Oh, yes. So we have a napping program and a non-napping program. So I had a child that couldn't sleep, myself. My son could not sleep. And so he went to a very strict little preschool, faith-based preschool, and this was back in the day, so they had a rule that you couldn't come to school between 12 and 3 because it might upset the napping situation. Well, I was an accountant at the time, and I would do the books. And I would try to get done with them so I could go pick them up before the 12:30 laydown time, because you weren't allowed on campus after that. And it was a Christian school. So I was saying to him, I said, Jason, Mommy's going to really try to get to school before you have to lay down today, because I know it's really hard for you to sleep. And he goes, Mom, it's okay, because I'm going to pray to God that I can go to sleep. Okay. That was heartbreaking. Was I going to go to sleep? So I created, when I came to Ascension, a non-napping room, and so it is enriching. It's also required by the state, but it's an enrichment space for children that do not nap. So we do ask them to rest first, especially for a child that's going to be here that 7 to 5, that's a long day. There's no downtime for them. So they're going to rest, and then they're going to go do some activities. And then we have a special program for that. And it's a different activity. It's not fair to that child to do the same thing all day long. We switch it up all day long. So they're going to see a different environment outside 3 times a day. It's a lot of setup and takedown, but worth it to keep them engaged. Can't show the same show. You always have to switch up your game plan. It's a lot of fun. We serve 107 children a day now.
Really?
107. School is full every day, and we almost have as many people on the wait list as we do inside the program.
Do
So-
Ascension,
I'm sorry.
do Ascension members get priority?
You bet they do. But what happens is sometimes they don't necessarily take their space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
act on
So
it,
I just
yeah.
had somebody run through the school the other day and said, you know, we helped build the thing down here. My grandparents are, I'm not sure, she was in a really big hurry. And it's like, I have such a huge wait list now, and it's sad, so I can't help that church member. I cannot do it. All the Rams that just came to town,
Oh, yeah.
they're here and they cannot get in. They are not gonna get in. So, because when February hits, I don't advertise the date that we're gonna open registration, because I think it just causes too much chaos, to be honest with you. A lot of chaos. So, we don't advertise it, but once we post it on the web, the school's full in an hour for September. So, people's lives do change between February and September, so yay. Sometimes God works things out for people to slip in, which is awesome. But mostly I'm the no person. We don't have room, I'm sorry. I still tour people because I feel like I don't want to be that closed door to our community. That's not who we are as a church. But at the end of the day, their child's probably not going to attend here. So we have children on the wait list until they age out of the program. We have 3 at the day school this year that never got into the preschool, but they've been on the wait list for 3 years. And that's kind of what is happening right now. And the draw is, to me, first and foremost, the fact that we're a faith-based school. And secondly, we are a nature explorer school. parents want their children to experience what they experienced, and they're not getting it today anywhere. And that's what they seek us out for. So, yes.
What percentage maybe would be Ascension of the kids that are here, Ascension members of family, parents?
Good question. I think it's changed over the years again. I would say that there were more people that came to the preschool when I first came. I'm going into year 13. From the church to the preschool. Now the children are coming from the preschool and going to the church. And that's what I've seen change. So lots and lots of our babies get baptized here. It's the parents' first introduction to a faith-based community. Most of the people that apply at the Early Childhood Center are not Lutherans. They're not Christians. They want this for their children. And it's their first introduction to a faith-based community a lot of times. And so it's kind of like Cheers, I guess, in that sense. They want to be a part of this. They love what they feel. They feel the love on the campus, and then they start coming to the church.
So your teachers are doing a missionary work at the same time?
They are, and that's really the main goal, really it is. So we've had, one of my teachers teaches Sunday school here, and her Sunday school class is made up of all children that came strictly from the Early Childhood Center that had no connection to Ascension. Yeah, the preschool class. So it's kind of cool. So God has big plans. He always has big plans. But big plans for this place. It's pretty cool. It's kind of fun to be a part of it.
Is there an upper limit that you're regulated as far as children that you can have?
Oh,
or-
yes. I've increased the limit 3 times since I've been here.
Really?
There is no place left for us to go until we build a new building. So when I first came, we were using the little church nursery. They had started infant care. The infant care was 1 year old when I came. And there were children that were 3 months and children that were 23 months in that same little space. And I was like, oh, this is not going to work out well.
man.
So we went from there, and I squeezed the music room away from Howard. And I put my toddlers over there so my infants could be safe. And so we increased it by 12 at that point. And then this last time at the modulars, I was able to increase 30 spots for 4-year-olds. So the 4s have that one building, and there's 30 of them in there. And then my infant and toddlers have the other modular, and there's 30 in there. And then there's 47 in the original preschool space.
Now, do you have a cross like you have to match your
Every outfit.
That matches.
Thank you.
Your green.
Thank you. I have a thing about abalone, you know.
Did we, Ascension, you know, I was brought up in a different Lutheran home in a different country,
Oh.
but we children used to get a cross as a gift when we were confirmed.
Yes.
Is that still a custom? I hope it is.
Well, at the
I don't have that
preschool.
cross anymore. I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, crosses are so special.
Mhm.
Oh, they are so special. The children will make the cross.
The
We
what?
do children make crosses down at the preschool. I don't know that we give them jewelry. I don't think we do. But we certainly give them a Bible. And we do give
Our
them
Bible,
a Bible, a
Sure.
child's Bible.
yes.
And then they're exposed to stories, Bible stories all the time. And so that's really pretty cool too. And of course they act them out. It's fun to do the Wall of Jericho. Favorite.
I was just gonna say, Pam, it also speaks well for you as well as why our pastors also are so supportive of what you do down there. And that makes such a difference too.
We're really,
They
really
play a
blessed.
major role in the day school and the preschool.
Thank you.
You're the principal here, right?
I am the Early Childhood Center director so I am the director over the babies through age 5.
You're the boss.
Karen, in my little world. He's actually the boss. I answer to a big boss. But, yeah, so I'm going into year 13, which I can't believe that it just has gone so fast. And I raised 4 children myself. I would have never in a million years thought that I would ever be in education or administration, because I felt like I already did that at home. So I come with a background working for the government in secret material. So It's a completely different plan than I thought I had. But I used to live in Los Angeles, and so that was my thing. I worked with the FBI. And then when we moved to Thousand Oaks, I got exposed to, I used to always volunteer in the schools and do tutoring and things like that. And then a friend of mine just said, you got it. So that's how I ended up in the field that I'm in. But it's because that was God's plan for me. But if he'd presented it when I lived in LA, I probably would have said no thank you. So I'm glad he worked on me enough, because I love what I do. I feel so blessed to be able to do it and share it here. So I thank you for that. Yes.
2 short comments. One is a sign that says Valhalla,
Valhalla!
which is House of Heaven.
You have to tell them what it is.
It's a Scandinavian term for House of Heaven. I saw the sign in Solvang. I told her, she got that at her house.
I
right?
do.
Valhalla is something special. So I think there needs to be a Valhalla sign. The other thing is, I go to the Monday morning women's Bible study, and I told somebody this a year or 2 ago. They have to be so careful, the kids, when you got 60 women rolling in late at 9:15 on Monday morning. And that's when they would put kids in a
Buggy.
little buggy and
Because
give
we used to have to
rice
go all the
down
way
to
across the
park.
parking lot with those babies in buggies to get down to the preschool.
Oh.
And it was just be like, oh, but you know, God was good. Nobody ever got hurt.
Yeah,
And so we were still able to grow the program. Amazing.
Well, and I brought it up at the Bible study, please drive carefully because there's kids arriving and stuff, so.
Sure.
I'm just saying, that's a cautionary word we all need to think of,
Yeah. Well, now we're kind of out of the
out of that
thoroughfare,
spot.
which is absolutely fantastic, and the babies have an incredible playground. You would love it. You have to come down. So I was thinking, yeah, we should all come and play, because we have a lot of fun down there, and I don't want anyone to miss out on what's yours. It's incredibly beautiful. Very proud of it. We're going to be doing a picnic. That's going to be an all-one Ascension picnic, and I think it's coming up
August 27th.
August 27th. I'm going to open up the preschool and infant center that day so you can see your space. I want you to come and see it and enjoy it because it's really pretty special. But like for the infant center and the 4s, because we're going to be moving into our new building, most of the things there have been designed to be moved. We want to be good stewards of what God has given us. But it's going to be really fun. Like there's this huge gazebo. I don't know if anyone saw it in Costco. And I saw it and I'm like, I need that for my babies to be able to eat, snack, right, out and be in the sun. So I went to the manager and I said, I need that gazebo. When you're done with it, can I have it? And he said, I'm not afraid to ask. So anyway, at the end of the day, we have that beautiful gazebo down there. Yeah, he knows we're on a first name basis. The manager at Costco and I, it's good stuff. Rudy, his name is Rudy. The one in Westlake. Yeah. So anyway, I thought what we could do with the little bit of time left that we have, I'm happy to answer any more questions, but we have things for you to plant, take with you, hands-on experiences that you would have maybe down at the Early Childhood Center, and beautiful fruits and vegetables you should try. They've all been washed, but they are all grown at the Early Childhood Center, excepting for the pears. Those are not. We don't have a pear tree. But we have every other tree, right? Pretty much everything you can imagine. And that's what's so fun. So, yeah, and thank you for your time. We did get the opportunity, did I forget something?
Our award?
We got an award from the Ventura County Star this year. We are rated the best school in the Coon Valley. So that was pretty special.
Good.
Yes, but we've always wanted to be a secret because we don't need the advertisement. To be honest with you. We're not a secret anymore. So the word's out, but it's good stuff. God has been good and definitely blessed us. So we're excited about our new plan. So please eat some fruits and vegetables and let's plant some herbs. There's all kinds of goodies over here for you. You're welcome.
At like at Christmas time. Celebrate Christmas.